All right, y'all. I thought this would be some sort of a fun and interesting thing to do. I was watching a movie the other night. I rented a movie called Black Sunday, and this was a disaster movie, like a spy thriller, terrorist thriller that was originally a book and then was made into a movie in 1977. I'd never seen it before. I'd heard about it, but the plot is that a group of terrorists put some explosives in the Goodyear blimp, and so they try to, which is, the Goodyear blimp is usually, or back then it was always in view. Maybe it still is. I don't even know, but it was always circling around the stadium when there's a big game, whether it's the Orange Bowl or the Rose Bowl or the Super Bowl. Given that it's an outside stadium. So it's a fixture of the Super Bowl, and so the idea was these terrorists were going to try to blow up the Super Bowl, and it was a pretty spectacular, pretty. It's a movie that has aged pretty well. Surprisingly well. I thought it was going to be a lot more hokey looking than it was. Directed by John Frankenheimer, who's done a lot of other classic Hollywood thrillers. The Manchurian Candidate being one of them, interestingly, on the subject of mind control and etc. But I thought it would be interesting to look at Super Bowl, a little bit of a Super Bowl halftime show, because the movie is, it's set in 1977. It was filmed probably in 1976, and there's footage of what's supposed to be the Super Bowl, and this outfit performs called Up With People. Now, it's just so interesting to go back to look at halftime shows of Super Bowls like in the 70s and even the 80s, and even I think it was even into the 90s, where they didn't have some big rock stars or pop star doing crazy outrageous things, and they didn't have all this satanic imagery, and wasn't Katy Perry riding on the back of the beast or what have you, all the kind of stuff that's become de rigueur lately, and that vigilant citizen breaks down, and these are the messages that they're sending to us through this halftime show. There was a time, though, when the Super Bowl halftime show was very different, when it was just a bunch of kind of goofy young people just prancing around. Well, let me show you. Let me just show you a couple minutes of this is Super Bowl 1982, the halftime show.
Today we're going to bring back some of those unforgettable songs and sounds of the 1960s. It was a time of momentous change, and the music was changing too. With so many exciting innovations and instant legends. From the Beach Boys to the Beatles, Surfers to Soul, the Hootenanny to Motown. And here are just a few of the highlights.
So this is what they had. This is what they feature. It's like this nostalgia, like 60s nostalgia thing. Like, this is when the baby boomers were like in their 40s, in their late 30s, and so it was just sort of this just so goofy, just this like much more. All right, you get the idea. You can watch, if you want to watch the rest of it, you can. It's all, you can find all this on YouTube. This is Super Bowl halftime show of 1982. But just notice how there's no pop stars, no rock stars. It's not about trying to dazzle, with incredible sets or provocative choreography or anything like that. This is just, I don't even know this is just, it's goofy, it's hokey. I'm not saying this is anything. I'm not saying this is high art. Please don't misunderstand me. But it's just like what were our cultural manipulators up to back then? If given that the Super Bowl was just as big back then as it is now. I mean, it was watched, it's the most watched event easily on television in America, and even then, I think across the world, people would tune in for the Super Bowl. It just was. It was usually a really bad game, and it was overhyped. All the stuff that you can say about the Super Bowl now was true about the Super Bowl back then. But you did not have these halftime shows that were promoting nefarious agendas or what have you. This is like I don't know. This is like something you'd see, almost like something you'd see at a high school. Like the marching band do it with slightly more, with a bigger budget and just slightly more talent, but not like this Surfing USA. It's totally cheesy. There's the band. So this was the Super Bowl halftime show. This was what the Super Bowl halftime show was like in the before years. Before it was all about rock stars or more lately rap stars, and doing provocative things and having satanic imagery and to be analyzed on conspiracy sites. Nobody was thinking along those lines. Now, certainly the world was, the powers that be were still nefarious back then. But my thesis, again, has been for a while that things took a significant turn after the end of the Cold War. But, and it was only after the end of the Cold War that we really started to see these really subversive agendas manifest themselves in such a prominent way. When we saw them being pushed so hard, that was the start of it. It was after the Cold War. This is still during the Cold War. Our rulers in the West, they wanted us on their side. They wanted us thinking that they were behind us, and so they came out with these hokey kinds of displays of Americana that signaled that they were, that America was great, and Middle America was great, and our looking back on our culture, and the songs that we all enjoyed together. If you were a baby boomer, if you were younger like me, you didn't know these songs from memory. You didn't remember when these songs were on the radio, but just more, I would say, wholesome. In a kind of glitzy, tacky sort of, almost Las Vegas kind of way, but still much more wholesome, definitely G-rated. And that was how it used to be. That was how Super Bowl halftime shows. This is what they used to look like. So, thoughts, comments, leave them below.